Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mystic. Welcome to episode 2 of Yap Sesh. This isn't really an episode thing, it's just the second one. But today I wanted to talk about mental health and all that good shit. So, firstly, happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, guys. Um, I think this is a month that's very important, something that should be taken very seriously. Um, you know, I've seen the statistics, and it's very sad. Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. Anyways, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I've seen the statistics, and I mean, obviously, right? We can all just Google what happens. Firstly, before we start, I just want to say, this is something that I am taking very seriously. I wrote stuff up. I tried my best. I can't really do scripts. I'm not great at those, but I did write things out because, hey, I want to take this seriously. I think this is something that is a very serious issue, so I think it should be taken as such. So, firstly, I just kind of wanted to talk about a bit about myself, my struggles with mental health issues, just to make this a little bit more personable. So firstly, hi, I'm Jared. I'm 21 years old. Happy birthday to me, right? Um, so there's been various phases of things that I've gone through. In my high school years, where I was mainly kind of just depression. Um, I a lot of it was kind of like self-inflicted, I'll say, in terms of I kind of put myself there and kept myself there. I had good friends. Some of them I'm no longer friends with. That's its own issue. And there's just a lot of things that I was struggling with, and I didn't really let anyone help me. I kind of pushed everyone away on purpose to keep this idea of everyone's gonna leave me and all that bullshit. And so that did nothing but kind of hurt me. I'd push away friends, but in reality, I kind of wanted them to like come after me, be like, "No, Jared." Specifically, my senior year, after a bunch of stuff had happened with a friend and with an ex, um, in reality, I caused a lot of those issues, like for myself. But senior year, everything kind of like started happening again, like really fast. And, a lot of my friends were in relationships. And I know it's like, so you're sad because you weren't in a relationship? No, kind of, not really. It was more, I felt like I couldn't really talk to them anymore because I felt bad taking them away from said relationship. So it was really difficult. I felt like I didn't really have anyone to rely on. And that's on me, right? Never them. I love them, my goats. So it was kind of really hard at school. I would kind of rush off to class, even though we shared most of our classes together. I would kind of just rush off, kind of just sleep, not really pay attention, stuff like that. And I mean, it was just really hurting me. It got to the point where I was like, "Hey, mom, I think it's time for therapy." And I mean, guys, I honestly couldn't tell you. I tried. I've done this like 3 times. I've tried to remember what my therapist told me, and I can't for the life of me remember. All I know is that at the end, after like a year of therapy with him, he told me that the person that I was like completely different than the person he had met originally, which feels good, right? It really shows your journey of how far you've come along. But senior year, right? Nothing was really changing. I kind of kept myself in that pretty dark spot, and it was just the little things, right? I finally reached out, to my Fergie poo, my goat, my king, my icon. I reached out to him and I told him that I was really struggling, taking care of myself mentally, emotionally. That moral of the story is I try to kill myself. Right? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I dropped a bomb on you. So I was kind of talking to Ferg about that, and I mean, he immediately apologized. He said that he feels like a terrible friend because he didn't reach out to me or anything. And fuck that chat. Ferg, bestest friend out there. If you guys get yourselves a friend like Ferg, you guys are set for life. Bro is a goat. Um, so it was really hard, to kind of like reach out, which I always felt like it wasn't. But after all that, I was like, huh, maybe I was wrong. Um, and so from there, I always kept that like very real of like, if you ever need something, you come to me, you talk to me. I'm not gonna make you feel invalidated or say shut the fuck up. Fuck no. We all feel things and we should be allowed to. My first year of university, it was going great. It was a little weird because I was away from family. I wasn't too far. My school was half an hour from where I live, so it's not like oh my god. No, it was I'd come home like every second weekend. But I still really missed them because, I was no longer in the same house as them. So my second semester starts, or my second quarter. Sorry, we're a quarter system. It started, and I mean, it was okay, right? Like I started out. Well, actually, no, it was terrible. During winter break, I wouldn't sleep until like 3 in the morning, and I would wake up at like 1 in the afternoon. I'd see the sun for like 4 hours, and then it'd be dark. I kept that up. I think almost the first week of school, I didn't sleep, and I had to work. Horrible. And my job, I hated it, and it wasn't anything like, oh man, guys, I did hard labor, 12 hours a day. No, I worked at my school's dining hall, but I mean, I just hated being there. But I was like, I need the money, so I would keep that up, and I did all 8 a.m.s, which I know it's like, it's not that big of a deal, but anybody who is in college or was in college, I mean, there's some of the most difficult classes to take just because getting up for them is insane. So I did that during winter quarter, and it's really hard because one, it's cold as hell in the mornings. But two, something that affects a lot of people is SAD, or seasonal affective disorder. I think that's what it's called. I think it's seasonal affective disorder or depression. It's one of the two. I don't know. I'm gonna put it right here. But it was hitting me pretty hard. I was struggling. It was like maybe halfway through the quarter. I wasn't going to class anymore. I wasn't showing up to work. Um, I got in a lot of trouble. And then again, my Fergie Poo and Mar, I'm not gonna discredit them, came to my rescue. They pulled up and they were just like, "What's up, Jar?" Because my school is on the way to their school, so they, pulled up, and it was great. I kind of talked to them about my school, showed them around, had dinner with my friends, like my college friends and my two buddies. We all had dinner together, and then we went outside to the parking lot and talked for like another hour before they left. Like the good Latinos that we are. And so we kind of just, that little thing really helped me because it kind of like, hey, you know what? Like it's okay. Like I can do this. I don't really know what exactly it did, but it just made me feel that sense of like I got this shit. So I did. It was great. Second year, flew by. I was, going great, going strong, usually like the first like 6 weeks I'm like locked in. I'm fucking chilling. Week 7, things kind of slow down, and then week 8 forward, I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm done. We have 10 weeks of classes and then 1 week of final, so 11 weeks total. So by week 8 is when I'm kind of like done, where I'm just like, fuck, dude, I can't do this. But it's like I still have enough gas in the tank to, push me those last couple of weeks. My spring quarter, it was week 3, and I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't do anything. It was difficult. I honestly was not sure if I was gonna pass, and I got back into the cycle again. I wasn't really talking about anything. I wasn't reaching out. I wasn't doing anything to actually help myself. I just kept putting myself in worse and worse and worse situations. Um, and honestly, I really don't. All I know is I reached out to my Fergie Poo, and we kind of talked about some of that shit, and it kind of like helped me like really think. But that's that same feeling of I can't do anything. I feel so dead was hitting. I think like closer to the end, I got really locked in. I was like, dude, I'm so fucking back. The like we are so back. That's how I felt. I was like, we got this shit, dude. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna pass everything. This shit gonna be light work. And then I think it was week 10, and I got that crash again of I can't do this anymore. Um, and finals week was hell because I don't go to class. I've always kind of like studied better on my own. Finals week was hell because it's all these exams and all the studying. I would study basically all day, every day, nonstop. Took the exams. I came home and I was done. I was dead. And I started therapy like immediately after I finished my second year. Start therapy, and I started talking to her, and I was like, hey, I'd like to be referred to a psychiatrist because I'm like, you know what, I feel like I need, I feel like I need some, like I feel like I think I have ADHD. I'm like I've tested, I tested, hell yeah, but they didn't want to give me meds. Do you think you could, you know, give me a referral so I can talk to him about getting medication? So I met with a psychiatrist, and he was running. He was like going down the list. I was telling him how I feel about shit, and he's like, uh huh, and he's like, well, Jared, I don't think you have ADHD. And I was like, here's another motherfucker I'm about to have to school. He's like, I think you're bipolar. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute, something ain't right. And I was like, I was like, that makes sense. I was like, I'm not, yeah, I could see it. And keep in mind, I never even thought of that and we had just learned about that like the quarter before. So I was like, fuck. So having been told that, I was like, wow, man, this kind of makes sense. That's why I would randomly feel incredible and then crash, right? So then they put me on this beautiful little pill. Sorry, I did that on purpose, but yeah. Lamotrigine. I'll say it. I don't know if I'll bleep it out after or not, but if I didn't, hey, you know what I'm taking. Basically, that medication helps me. It's a mood stabilizer. It's like anti seizure medication. I don't know how the fuck they like make medicine. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to make sure you don't have a seizure, but like it'll keep you chill too. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyways, sorry guys, I'm moving off topic, but I'll speed through this and then we'll get to the juicy bit. So I start taking the medication. I start feeling better, and every once in a while I have to up my dosage. But basically, those pills helped me chill out, and I felt like they really helped me kind of like piece myself back together. I still get depressive episodes and I still get hypomanic episodes, but it's not as bad as it used to be. Now they're a lot more manageable than before, so it's something that I'm very thankful for. Um, but this kind of leads me into like my main topic of today's video, and that's I feel like that's a big issue with a lot of men is that we don't reach out to people for this help, and that's what makes things worse. I look back at all of the situations where I did reach out to someone to talk about it, whether it be a therapist or a friend, and I know that my life would look a lot different right now if I didn't do that. So, I looked at some statistics, some little articles, and when they do surveys with men and they ask them like, why don't you talk about this stuff? Big portions are they're embarrassed, they don't want to feel like a burden, you know, kind of shit like that. And it's really sad because I had a friend who feels the exact same way. Feels like couldn't really talk to me about stuff because it'd be a burden. And I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. Why would you think that, right? But I kind of get it, right? It's like these are my problems. Why would I throw it on this other person? I definitely get it, but I think people kind of forget that, hey, we're friends. If it's an issue with you, I want to help you. If, you know, you're willing to take it. Um so that's why I wanted kind of to make this video to talk about how important it is to be able to reach out to people and also be there for people who reach out to you. We're all in this together, just like High School Musical. I think we have to be willing to always help each other. Because, like I said, I think if I didn't reach out, I would be in a very different place right now. So I think it's really important that we, have that option. It's not something we should be embarrassed about. It's not something we should feel like we're a burden for. Just, it's a normal human feeling, right? Um, and then that kind of leads me to my next point of the reason it's so difficult, right, is because of how we're brought up, right? Depending if it's a culture thing or just a society thing, right? Society. We're kind of like men are painted out to be like I say we chat. I'm chilling, but I'll keep saying we just because it kind of helps me. But in society, right, we're kind of like put up at like, oh, you're a man, right? You can tough it out. It's not that big of a deal. Men don't cry. Men don't this. Men don't that, right? And I've always found this to be very bullshit, right? We're allowed to do any of those things because it's a human thing. Well, not even a human thing. It's just the fucking uh, uh I don't know what the word. Everyone does it. Fucking pets do it. Dogs, cats, whatever the fuck. We all cry. We all feel shit, right? I think it's the same thing, right? We should be allowed to feel whatever we want to feel. Um, and another thing that's very common is like the main emotion that men feel are anger, right? That's like what's okay for them to express. And I remember I myself had some anger issues in the past, and when talking about it with a therapist, she kind of told me, I don't remember what it's called, but if I find it, I'll put a picture of it here. I think it's called like the anger iceberg or something along those lines. Basically, it shows how anger is the tip of the iceberg, and the part that you're not seeing of the iceberg is all the things that make up that anger. Sometimes it isn't actual anger, it's frustration or hunger. I know, hunger. That one shocked me, but I'm like, you know what? Yeah, dude, being hangry is real. Who would have thought, dude? I didn't. But anyways, um so and I'm not saying like back to kind of like what I was saying earlier is I'm not saying like it's society's fault that we're like no. One issue that I do have is when people say like, "Whoa, like you're the ones that set up those rules. You're the one that set it up that way," and it's just like, I didn't set that shit up. I don't think fucking Ricky over there set that shit up. People ages ago were like, you can't cry. And it's just like, all right. And see, I don't agree with that, right? I think that's fucked up. That just kind of hurts us. We should be allowed to feel whatever we want to fucking feel. Anyways, if nothing kind of like resonates with you guys, it's completely fine. Like I said, I want to do this just to kind of air out how I feel about this shit and hopefully help someone. That's the dream, right? Um, but yeah, I think it's well within our right to be able to talk about this type of stuff, right? So, um, so this kind of leads me back to the original point, and kind of goes with culture. So myself, I'm a Latino, I'm a bean, and it's very common in our culture to not really talk about our struggles, not really talk about our shit, um, because it's just kind of like take it on the chin, whatever, move on. But I'm like, hold the fuck up, who made this a rule? Who the fuck died and made you captain? Um, right when we're kids, we're not really allowed to show emotion, right? And I don't mean I don't know how to say it in like a better way because it's not like terrible. It's just if you're angry, right, you get in trouble. If you're sad, they kind of tell you to not be sad. If you're if you're too happy, sometimes they tell you to chill the fuck out. So I know it's like a lot of things are you might say they're based or not. I don't know, but it's like we're not really shown how to manage any of those emotions. So when we grow older, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So I think because I started taking psychology classes, and it's like, oh, this guy took a psychology class, now he's a therapist. Yes. Um, it's just like we're like stunted, you know. It's like not having that emotional maturity stunts us and doesn't let us deal with a lot of problems. Especially with men, there's a lot of households that are like, you're crying, you're a fucking bitch, which is like, why? Who made that fucking rule? Why does crying mean you're a fucking weakling? Um, I think it's perfectly great to cry, to let it out. I think it's normal, right? I think it's something that sometimes we just have to do. And regardless of the fucking reason, right? Chat, I'll be honest. When Barca lost against fucking Inter Milan in the Champions League, I cried. Right? Now that isn't, depression. None like that. But it's still something that, made me feel sad. And what did I do? I cried. Um, but I'm kinda here to show you guys we don't have to suck things up. Pause. We don't have to suck it up. We don't have to just it's whatever. Just get over it. Because that's how these things work, right? Especially depression, right? Depression is something that lingers. It's something that just grabs onto you and doesn't let go. So, um, my point of all this is saying, if any of you guys ever need help, or if you have a friend that needs help, make sure you reach out. You know, for yourself, for your friend, for whoever, reach out. Do your best for them. I honestly don't like. I can't tell you a reason why. It's just we should, right? Like I said, the statistics are there for themselves if you guys want to look at them, and it's sad that so many people die every day. So I think, like I said, we should just kind of aim to help each other, right? Like I said, if I didn't help out, I'd be in a different place. My friends didn't reach out, they'd be in very different places. So I feel like those are the things that we really have to think about. And then so this next bit is kind of something that I've come up with myself and come up with, I guess. Um, these are things that have helped me when I have depressive episodes. And the first one is just kind of talking with someone. Um, every time I look back and think about it, I realize the more I let myself rot by myself, the worse I felt. I mean, like senior year, like I said, right? I wouldn't really talk to my friends. I'd kind of just be quiet the whole day. There was days where I almost wouldn't hear my voice until I got home, which is like, what the fuck? So it's something that really puts things in perspective. My last year here at university, there was days where I would kind of go on morning without talking, and when I saw my girlfriend, I would light up. Girlfriend flex. No, but for real. It was just having that person to talk to, right? And I mean, it was the same, right, with my girlfriend. I've had that with my buddy Ferg, where just talking to them kind of like made me feel better, just to just to get out what's going on in my head. And it wouldn't even be like, oh, I'm feeling this. No, like sometimes it was just talking, and be like, oh, hey, fucking Star Wars Battlefront is on the rise again. Sometimes it's just letting out shit like that. Another big one is taking the small wins. I feel like so many of us judge ourselves for not being able to do this grand big thing every single fucking day. And we don't have to do grand things every single day. If all you did today was get up and do your bed, fuck it, who cares? Good job. You did your best today. I struggle with this, right? I always struggle with I'm gonna do all this and then I don't do anything and I feel like a piece of shit. It's just showing up, just trying your best, no matter what your best is, right? If your best is walking into the gym for a minute and leaving, fuck it, you tried. That's all that matters, right? That's what life is about, trying, continuing moving forward. Even if you move the fucking millimeter, a centimeter, I think shut up. I don't know measurements, all right? I know inches. Um if you want to move forward, even just a tiny little fucking bit, that's enough. Be proud of yourself, right? Why wouldn't we be? Everything we do kind of like everything we do deserves praise, but I don't know if you guys are kind of seeing it the way I see it. I see it as in you should just be proud of yourself at all times for whatever reason, right? If you make a mistake, you made a mistake. Move on, right? You can do something else now. Fix that mistake, right? Or make sure it never happens again. The other one is like try to be nice with yourself, right? Don't call yourself a piece of shit. Don't call yourself lazy. Don't call yourself whatever the fuck is going on in your little noggin. Because why, right? I feel like a lot of us confuse laziness with. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know where I was gonna go with that, but I mean, a lot of us call ourselves lazy because we didn't do anything today, and we think, oh, we didn't do anything today. Like, oh, we should feel rested and this and that, but I still feel so tired. I think something people don't take into mind is the mental load of things. And I know it's like, oh wow, more fucking propaganda of the fucking the mental load, you fucking bitch. No. Um, right, the mental load is just kinda like having everything that you have to do up in your brain. And it's really hard to try and relax and have all that in your head. So that's why I feel like you're never really relaxing until it's done and you can just chill out, and it's just like, well, why don't you just get it done then? It's like sometimes you just physically can't, and that's okay. We beat ourselves up too much for not doing enough, but when we do more than enough, it's just, oh well, that's what we have to do, right? Be proud of yourself, right? Treat yourself with love and respect, because why wouldn't you? If How can someone love you if you can't love yourself, right? Now, I don't know how accurate that is, so take that with a grain of salt. But I think we should always try and love ourselves the most we can, right? No matter what it is, no matter if it's like, hey, like, I'm proud of myself because I got up. Fuck yes. I'm proud of myself because I woke up. Great. Whatever it is, just find that thing. And again, I know it's easier said than done, right? 'Cause trust me, I've been there. But like I said, the most important thing is just trying your best. No matter what the best is, do it. And then this is one that's been helping me recently, and it's not thinking about tomorrow. So I I had a psychiatry session. I asked my psychiatrist, I'm like, hey man, so like, listen, I'm kind of struggling with this issue of I was like, I keep telling myself that I'm gonna do all these things tomorrow, and I never do it. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, how do you do things? I'm like, how do you wake up and just do whatever the fuck you have to do? And he told me that what he does is he makes it so that it's almost like impossible to not do it. He's like, you have to reduce the amount of time that you have to tell yourself you don't want to do that thing. So he's like, if you're gonna go on a run in the morning, set your shoes out, get your clothes ready, have your water bottle set, your earphones or whatever you're gonna use. He's like, because that way you don't have to, oh, what should I wear? Okay, oh, but do I even really want to go out? He's like, get rid of that time. And for me, I would set my schedule of what I want to do the next day, like the day before, right? So it'd be 8, 9 p.m. and I'm like, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna hit a quick workout, and then I'm gonna eat, probably shower, and then oh, I gotta get some editing done, and then I gotta stream at night. When I wake up, I feel empty because I'm like, God, I have so much to do today, and I try not to think about it. I wake up and I'm just head empty. Just don't really think. Just kind of do whatever. Fill your head with whatever the fuck you want, and I kind of just go about it, right? I get up and I'm like, all right, I get dressed and I go outside and work out. Then I come inside I warm up my food, I shower, and I'm like, okay, I sit down at my desk, watch some YouTube while I eat, or depends on how I do things, right? If I shower and then eat, I'll watch YouTube. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'll start editing now. I edit, do whatever I have to do. If I want to take a nap, I go take a nap, right? Because why wouldn't I, right? It's like I stopped putting so much pressure on myself to do all these things, and instead I just wait till the day of, and I just one at a time, right? Not thinking about the next task immediately. Just, all right, I'm done. What's next? Because it's like that feeling of there's so much to do that makes you feel almost like paralyzed. And finally, I think the biggest thing of all is that we all matter, right? Every single one of our lives matter. Um, we were put on here for a reason, and regardless of if you think it's because of God, the universe, biology, whatever philosophical thing you believe, or you just happen to come along, I still think we're here for a reason, right? And I don't mean it has to be something deep or like, oh, we're here to change the world. No, just we're here to enjoy ourselves and to maybe start a family or just whatever the fuck you want to do, right? No matter how simple, no matter what it is, just do it. And I know it's hard um to just be able to do that, right? To do whatever you need to do. But like I said, the most important thing is see tomorrow. Be there to see tomorrow. Um Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. I want to thank you guys so much for watching episode 2 or part 2 of Yap Sesh. I hope you guys enjoy. As always, there'll be another one of these coming up in the future. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but we'll get there when we get there. And once again, guys, happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month and also happy Pride Month. Hope you guys take care. Again, reach out to people. And I love you guys. Take care. Peace out.